Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the XM4 in Black Ops Cold War Zombies. Specifically, we're going to take a look at what it looks like with all of the attachments and at max rank. We're going to be going through the best loadout you can use for the XM4 in Cold War Zombies. Now keep in mind this is my recommendations on what the best loadout is, but if you guys have a different loadout that you guys enjoy running, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. Alright, now first things first, I do want to mention, if you have not already, make sure you go into your skills and you're going to want to upgrade your weapon classes. The XM4 is an assault rifle, so if you can, you want to make sure you upgrade this all the way to tier 3. That way you get long shot damage increased by 10%, increased critical damage by 10%, and it's also going to unlock the 3 additional attachments, so you have a total of 8. Now once we have that, we can go ahead and go into the actual XM4 itself. So first up, we have the optics, and I went ahead and took a screenshot in game so you can see what they look like in game. We have the mill stop reflex, the vision tech, the Cobra red dot, the quick dot LED, the axial arms, Silex hollow scout, microflex LED, the Hawksmoor, the Royal and Cross, the SUSAT multi-zoom is actually going to be a variable zoom. You also can get the Diamondback reflex, as well as the AN PVS4 thermal scope. Now when it comes to the sights, it obviously comes down to personal preference, but I feel like for the XM4, the red dot sights are going to be what you want. So my 2 personal favorites, I like the Millstop reflex or the Cobra red dot. Either one of those is good, but again, the sights come down to personal preference. Now once we have our optic, we can go down to the muzzle. So for the muzzle, we have muzzle brake 556, the flash guard 556, the suppressor, the infantry compensator, the SOCOM eliminators, and the last muzzle we have is the agency suppressor. Now out of all of these, the muzzle that I would recommend, and you'll see in the final build, is going to be the muzzle brake 556 to just give you a flat increase 4% vertical recoil. Moving on to the barrels, we have the 11.8 Ranger, the 12.5 Cavalry Lancer, we have the 13.5 Reinforced Heavy. The next barrel we have is the 13.7 Extended Barrel. Next up we have the 13.7 Takedown, and the last barrel we have is the 13.5 Task Force. Now the barrel we're going to run on this loadout will be the 13.5 Task Force for the increased damage, and with all of the other attachments we're basically going to try to balance out the max starting ammo, the recoil for vertical and horizontal. Next up, going to the body, we have steady aim laser, mounted flashlight, the SOF target designator, we have the SWAT 5 MW laser sight, we also have the Tiger Team spotlight. Last up for the body, we have the Ember sighting point. Personally, we're going to be going with the Ember sighting point. The increased salvage drop rate is great to upgrade your tier, which is in turn going to affect your damage in the long run. It does have a negative side effect of sprint to fire time and aim down sight time, but again, we're going to try to balance those out with some of the other attachments we choose. So next up, moving into the underbarrel, we have foregrip, the infiltrator grip, the patrol grip, the bruiser grip. Next up, the field agent grip. Next up, we have the SFOD speed grip. So for our underbarrel, we're going to be going with the bruiser grip. So we get a flat plus 3% to movement speed, sprinting speed, shooting movement speed, as well as walking movement speed. In zombies, you want to be on the move a lot, so anything that's going to give you positive movement speed without having a negative side effect is going to be really good. Alright, next up we have our magazine perks. We have the 40 round magazine. Moving on, we have the jungle style mag. We have the 40 round speed mag. Next up we have the Stanag 50 round magazine. Next up we have the SAS mag clamp magazine. Next up we have the Salvo 50 round fast mag. Now personally for the magazine for the XM4, we're going to be using the Salvo 50 round fast mag, again to basically try and balance out all the cons with some of the other attachments. And you'll see this makes sense once we start adding them on here. Next up, for the handles for the XM4, we have speed tape, we have drop shot wrap, we've got the field tape, we have the SASR jungle grip. Next up, we have the serpent wrap. The last handle on the XM4 would be the airborne elastic wrap. Now the handle we're going for this loadout is going to be the serpent wrap for the increase in aim down sight time to balance out one of the other attachments we choose. And we'll see once we start adding these in how they all work together. Now last up for the stock on the XM4, we've got tactical stock, we've got wire stock, duster stock, buffer tube, the SAS combat stock, and our last stock on the XM4 is the Raider pad. Now the stock we're going to be running on the XM4 is going to be the Raider pad. I think that the increase to sprint to fire time as well as the movement walk speed is going to counteract some of the other attachments we have on there, so they'll balance each other out. And for hipfire accuracy, I think in zombies you don't really need hipfire accuracy that often, other than when you're getting pushed. And if you're getting pushed and the zombies are that close anyways, I think that little bit of accuracy isn't really going to go a long way. So I'd much rather take the big sprint to fire time buff as well as walking movement speed buff to balance everything out. Now my thought process on this loadout, and this is exactly how I went to build this thing, was first up I wanted to make sure I had a large magazine size as well as being able to reload quickly. So we started with the Salvo 50 round fast mag. Now because that reduced our aim down sights time, I wanted to keep an eye out for anything that would affect aim down sights time because we're losing 25%. So to balance that out, we went with the Serpent Wrap, which basically gives us the 25% back, so now we're not losing anything. Now another important thing for zombies is you want to make sure you have high damage output. So for our barrel, we're going to go with the 13.5 Task Force. This gives us that flat damage increase as well as bullet velocity and range. However, the downside, we lose starting ammo, but it equals out because we had the other magazine. The other thing we got to keep an eye out for is our recoil for vertical and horizontal. We're missing 20% vertical and 15% horizontal once we put this on here. So next up, we're looking for anything that's going to affect our horizontal recoil. For our underbarrel, we're going to run the Bruiser Grip, which will give us that increased movement speed, sprint speed, shoot speed, as well as aim walking movement speed. Our body, we're going to have the Ember sighting point, so we get the increased salvage drop rate. Now once we break it all down, this is what I think is the best loadout you can run for the XM4 in Cold War zombies. For our optics, I recommend the Cobra Red Dot with the 1.75 zoom for the muzzle. Muzzle brake 556 gives you that flat vertical recoil by 4%. For the barrel, we're going to go with the 13.5 Task Force for the increase in damage, range, as well as bullet velocity. We do lose out on starting ammo as well as recoil, but we'll help bring those back up with some of the other attachments. We're also going to go with the Ember sighting point for our body. Gets the increased salvage drop rate, so that way we can upgrade our weapon tier a lot sooner or buy upgrades from the workbench. We do lose out on sprint to fire time as well as aim down sight time, but again, we'll try to bring those up with some of the other attachments. For our underbarrel, I would recommend the Bruiser Grip, so you get a flat increase to speed for movement, sprinting, shooting, as well as aiming while walking. For the magazine, I would recommend the Salvo 50 round fast mag. Get the increased magazine size, starting max ammo, as well as ammo capacity, and the reload quickness. We do lose out on aim down sight time again, but we're going to balance that out with some of the other attachments. Moving on to the handle, we're going to go with the Serpent Wrap. Gives you the plus 25% aim down sight time, which does balance out the attachment we just talked about. And for our stock, we're going to go with the Raider Pad, which gives you the 30% sprint to fire time, as well as the 40% aim walking movement speed. We do lose out on hipfire accuracy, but I think this is going to be the best loadout for the XM4. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Now, when it comes to Cold War zombies, again, zombies, you're on the move a lot. So I think some of the more important stats you want to keep an eye out for would be bullet damage, how fast you go, your recoil, and your ability to hit headshots. But ammo is also going to be very important. So as we're doing these weapon breakdowns, we want to keep an eye out for what archetype of weapon we're using. So for the assault rifle class, for the XM4, I think this is a pretty solid, well-rounded loadout. But that's going to be it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Maybe you found something out. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm slowly working on getting my Dark Ether camo and maxing out all of my guns. So I'll be sure to drop these weapon guides as they come. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.